Welcome to the Sandler Training Hour. Each week, Jim and I get together and talk about some of those tips and tactics and how they come from Sandler and apply to selling in general. Last week, we had a conversation about the most common issue that we as sellers run into, which is the think it over. And that objection, we ultimately posit, is something that you have to deal with up front. That if you're running into think it overs, your meetings need to be formatted, structured in a way that remove that as a possibility by acknowledging a no is okay. We can start with no, and then anytime we get to no, what we don't want is some level of a maybe that's walking out the door. So we just want clarity to the conversation. And today, while we're continuing our conversation about overcoming objections, the one thing that is pervasive throughout the Sandler methodology is that it is not your responsibility to overcome anything for someone else. They have to overcome it themselves. So we hear a lot, and any form of sales education that you're looking at, you hear a lot of versions of here's how to deal with this, here's how to deal with that, here's a trial close, et cetera, et cetera. There's versions of handling objections, but Jim, talk to us a little bit about how do you handle an objection when you need someone else to overcome something that's happening in their head?
Yeah, I think if you take a step back and look at the persona that most salespeople project, and even think in terms of adjectives you would use to describe a salesperson, it's not uncommon to hear things like pushy. They have their own agenda. They don't really listen to me. All of these criticisms and critique of salespeople is a well-earned stereotype
Yeah.
because of this compulsion that if somebody gives me an objection, it's up to me to overcome it. And I think that goes the wrong direction. A trusted advisor, when you make a statement or share a hesitation, and a trusted advisor says to you, no, that's wrong. What you should look at is this. I mean, that relationship is not going to grow in depth, and you'll soon disqualify them just because of how they make you feel. So, what we train our clients is when you hear an objection, don't hear it as an objection, hear it as an opinion.
Yeah.
It's just their thought, it's what they're thinking. And then the response to it is acknowledging it. So, what I'm hearing you say is you're feeling like if you go forward with this ABC, it's going to create these unintended consequences of XYZ, and it makes you feel like moving forward may not be in your best interest. Is that what I'm hearing? So that in itself helps them trust you more because instead of saying, yeah, but,
Yeah.
and trying to distract them, you're actually opening up the dialogue by acknowledging their thoughts, their fears, their concerns.
Yeah. And I think that gets to the core of a conflict that some people who self-educate on Sandler come to, which they ultimately decide, well, this is a pretty manipulative
Yeah.
system. And you can weaponize any version of discovery with someone else through versions of gaslighting them on information of like, well, you really thought this. But to your point, what we're handling when someone brings up an objection is that they're verbalizing something.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you think about it from your own experience, you don't get credit for having an emotion if you have it in your head and don't tell anyone about it.
Yeah.
There's no value in being pissed off if no one knows that you're pissed off. Like no one get and like some of that may feel performative and some level of frustration is certainly performative because you're looking for a rise from someone else. But when someone is saying to you, listen, this doesn't seem like a good opportunity or now isn't the right time, it's not an invitation for you to fight with them. It's an invitation for you to understand what it means.
Yeah.
So you're saying now isn't a good time. I'm curious, do you have in your mind an idea of what a good time would look like? Or if now isn't a good time, and I come back and we have this conversation a year from now, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you won't have done anything, and 10 being this project will be finished, where are you? All of the, or both of those versions of engaging with the words that someone's saying are about discovering more to what they mean.
Yeah.
If we assume that an objection is really an opportunity for us to show off, then our calls are going to be about us.
Yeah.
And when your sales call is about you, you better be an astronaut or a pop star because otherwise those aren't going to close. People don't traditionally know who you are
Yeah.
or what you do. They can figure out through context or periphery or relationships or asking for recommendations or what people have heard, reviews do something, but you don't sell by existing.
Yeah.
You sell by letting the other person do it and then discovering what's holding them back. Your thoughts?
If you step back and look at what's happening at this point in the conversation, when you affirm their resistance, uh, they're now building trust, and it opens up a different type of dialogue. So then you can follow up with, I happen to have a little different perspective. Would you like to hear it?
Yeah,
I have never, in my 25 years of using Sandler, I've never had somebody say no. They all say sure,
yeah,
because I've heard them. I played back what they said with enough accuracy that they feel heard. And now they're going to want to hear my perspective. And really, what we're after is just shifting the paradigm. We gave you an example last week about this when you get to the close of the sale and someone says, "This looks really good. I think we are going to want to move forward at some point. We need to think about it." All of those kind of wishy-washy put-offs, when you get that kind of response, the paradigm shift is, I appreciate you saying that.
yeah,
And I realize making sure you make a good decision is crucial for all of us.
yeah,
I am curious, though. Often when people say to me, now I repeat verbatim what they just said, what they mean is, Jim, I don't want to move forward, but I don't want to hurt your feelings. So I'm kind of giving you a gentle put off.
yeah,
Could that be happening here? So I'm just telling a story of a different perspective. Now they're going to clarify if that is what's happening. I've had maybe a half a dozen people say, well, truth be told, I think you're right. But most people say, no, no, I haven't. That's not what I'm saying. I think we legitimately need some additional time to process this. Fair enough. Let's talk about what you're going to be processing. Now I get to coach them through what they're thinking, and often that coaching will help accelerate their ability to make a decision, pro or con.
yeah. It's an exceptionally valid approach because what you're doing literally is you're giving them the opportunity to give you more clarity about the direction. And that's it. It's you're giving the like it's as if you paint a picture. You could be saying this or you could be saying that. Which one do you feel like you're saying?
Yeah,
And it lets them answer, and there's three answers, right? This, that, or something else, but at least you've given them a barometer to talk through, and none of it is weaponized against them. It's all, I'm looking for clarity. I'm here to help you explore. I know when I'm dealing with a lot of commitment level issues, my main framework is just to find out like what are you doing in the status quo? What's your level of engagement now? How are you solving this issue on your own? And then how, like, we want to quantify pain. So how many minutes or hours a day or a week are you spending thinking about solving this? And regardless of whether we move together, because it sounds like this may not be the best fit for you, what would it take for you to stop beating yourself up over the results that you're getting in this area?
yeah,
And
yeah.
I
That's
and
good.
it's really like as a seller, determine what you're bringing into the conversation and what you're willing to accept from it. Determine what makes it a good conversation. A good conversation to me is that I've established another relationship with another professional who has an idea of what I do, how I do it, and knows that they can introduce me in a no pressure conversation to look for what does a good fit look like. That's a good conversation to me. The more of those that I have, it's the tree, right? The branches are the conversations, and at the end of one of those branches, there's going to be fruit.
Yeah.
I'm not a mercenary. I'm not here for blood. It's relationships. Relationships are always the thing that has ever closed business. For most of us who have been in business a while, referrals are the lifeblood, especially for a small business.
Yeah.
And so when you think about handling objections and you think about having clear strategies to overcome objections, I just suggest instead think that the most competence that I can demonstrate in a call will lead to more warm referrals coming to me from people who realize that I'm not a good fit for them, but that I may be a good fit for someone in their circles.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I think the final point I would make is just to spend time recognizing how you naturally feel emotionally when somebody brings up an objection. If your feeling is to be defensive, that defensive posture is going to telegraph through to them. Whereas if your feeling is to be empathetic and understanding, that's what opens them to a paradigm shift and lets you facilitate that by just telling a story, providing a different perspective. This may not apply to you, but from my vantage point, I'd look at it this way, which would result in that. Your thoughts.
I love that. It's a good note to end on. Sales is not a fight or flight game. You're not being chased by a tiger. So have fun, be playful, and recognize that the value is building a relationship. It's not your close rate. And elevate whichever part of your sales process is lowest, because that's where you'll get the most bang for your buck. This is us with Sandler Training. If you have more questions about who we are, what we do, you found your way here. Backtrack somewhere, find us, and raise your hand. Otherwise, good selling. Good luck out there.